Today we're going to learn how to use the passive voice. First, in the active voice, the subject is the doer of the action, okay? Whereas in the passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. So we form the passive voice with be plus past participle of the main verb. Now there is a passive voice for each active tense that exists in English. Here are some examples. In the active voice, we would say they educated him in Europe. So educated is our verb and him is the object. Okay? So here we are talking about what the doer did, what they did. They educated him. In the passive voice, we talk about the receiver, so that so now the object becomes the subject, was educated in Europe. So this is the verb in past participle. And here we have the was, which is the verb to be. So in this sentence, we talk about the receiver of the action. So he received the education in Europe. He was educated in Europe. Whereas here, they educated him in Europe. They is the doer and him is the object. Okay, let's look at some more examples. Now, when the verb in the active voice has both a direct and an indirect object, the indirect object usually becomes the subject when the sentence is changed to passive form. For example, they gave him a present of $100. They is the subject, okay? Him is the indirect object, and a present of $100 is the direct object. Okay, so him would become the subject in the passive voice. So we would say, he was given a present of $100. So he now is the subject, which would normally be the indirect object in the active voice. Here's another example. They told me the story. They is the subject. Me is the indirect object. And the story is the direct object. So in passive voice, we use the indirect object as our subject. So we would say, I was told the story. So I becomes the subject. I was told the story. Thank you for listening.